Hi, welcome to Manga Recapz universe. The Runcandle family, a renowned sword family throughout the world, dominated half of the known lands with an iron grip. Their legacy was one of unparalleled swordsmanship, and they were infamous for producing members born with both exceptional talent and robust physiques. For generations, they had ruled with overwhelming force, their power stemming from three unyielding virtues: combat, conquer, control, virtues that embodied the law of the jungle. Into this illustrious lineage was born our protagonist, Jean Runcandle. He emerged as the youngest scion of the Runcandle clan, a family where strength and swordsmanship were the pillars of existence. The selection ceremony, a pivotal event in the family's traditions, marked the moment when each child's future path was foretold and chosen. In this sacred ritual, Jean stood before a magnificent array of ancestral swords, each representing a distinct role within the family. Unwavering in his determination, Jin's eyes locked onto the most imposing blade of all, the Barasada, a legendary weapon known as the choice of the Patriarch. It was said that the one who selected the Barasada in the selection ceremony was destined to become the leader of the Runcandle family, the heir to their dominion. As Jean reached for the Barasada's hilt, his father, the current Patriarch, observed the moment with a mysterious glint in his eyes. Breaking the silence that had fallen over the assembly, he spoke with a mixture of curiosity and pride, saying, "So you've chosen the Barasada." How interesting! With those words, Jin's fate was sealed. He had accepted the weight of his family's legacy and embarked on a journey filled with challenges, responsibilities, and the destiny of guiding the Runcandle family into an ever-evolving future of dominance and conquest. Little did he know that this path would lead him to confront not only formidable adversaries but also profound revelations about the nature of power and leadership in a world where the sword reigned supreme. Jean Runcandle had always assumed he would follow in his family's tradition of success and fame. However, he faced a stark reality: he had absolutely no talent for swordsmanship, a shockingly rare deficiency within the Runcandle lineage, known for their martial prowess. Within the family, he became known as Runcandle's embarrassment, their disgrace, the worst dunce of the Runcandles. This marked a painful and humbling journey for Jean, filled with relentless training, numerous failures, and isolation within his own family. Yet, through his struggles, Jean would discover qualities within himself that defied convention and transcended traditional virtues. His path would reveal that greatness could take many forms. And sometimes, it was the most unlikely individuals who would rise to face extraordinary challenges. While Jean practiced with his sword, his older brothers taunted him mercilessly. "Are you swinging that useless sword again?" one of them jeered. "I wonder where that special Barasada sword is." "Certainly not in your hands," Jean, gritting his teeth, didn't answer. The mockery continued as they ridiculed him for not responding. "Why aren't you answering? Your almighty brothers are asking you questions," another brother chided before kicking him. What a useless bastard! Enraged by their insults, Jean attempted to pick up his sword, but they were quick to thwart his efforts. They used their legs to smash his hand and confiscated the papers he held, a collection of basic swordsmanship theory. "Do you think studying basic swordsmanship theory would make you any less useless?" his brother sneered. "This is why guys who are useless should never be given any chances." Jean, his patience wearing thin, demanded that they stop and return his belongings. His brother, however, tore the papers to shreds. "Because chances are given to you," he coldly retorted, "you fail to know your place and keep holding on to hope." In a sudden surge of defiance, Jean exclaimed, "You didn't have to do that." But his brother grabbed his hair and hissed, "We are doing this for your sake. Why do you keep talking? Did your nanny teach you manners? It looks like we need to teach you a lesson." The tension in the room hung heavy as Jean braced himself for whatever harsh lesson his brothers had in mind. Despite the relentless bullying from his brothers and his perceived lack of talent, Jean Runcandle remained resolute. He cared little for their taunts, focusing instead on his unwavering determination to prove his worth within the family. He believed that through hard work and dedication, he could earn recognition and become a true part of the Runcandle legacy. However, fate had a different path in mind for him. At the age of 25, Jean received a shocking decree from his family. They banished him from the Runcandle lineage, but in an unexpected turn of events, they spared his life, recognizing his commendable efforts. It was a harsh and bewildering turn of events that left Jean adrift in the world, wandering aimlessly, with no clear purpose or direction. During this uncertain time, he encountered a master who would change the course of his life forever. Under this master's guidance, Jean discovered an astonishing truth: he possessed a talent not just for anything, but for something that was considered a taboo within his own family: magic. Magic became Jin's newfound calling, the hidden power within him that had long been suppressed. It was a revelation that opened up a world of possibilities and a future he had never dared to dream of. With newfound purpose and determination, Jean embarked on a journey to hone his magical abilities. Forging a destiny that would take him far from the sword-dominated world of the Runcandle family, into realms where the mystical and the extraordinary held sway. 3 years after his banishment from the Runcandle family, Jean Runcandle found himself immersed in a daring experiment, attempting to connect the natural mana that permeated the world with the mana of magicians. His goal was to recover and strengthen the mana that would manifest as his newfound magical abilities. As he delved deeper into his research, dark and eerie energy suddenly enveloped him. He felt a presence, an unseen force that seemed to emanate from the shadows themselves. In a moment of surprise, he asked, "Who are you?" A voice responded, "I am Sodaret, the master of all shadows, Jean Runcandle. I'll propose a contract to you as the god of shadows. If you make a contract with me, not only will you be able to use shadow energy, but you will also negate all curses." Jean listened, his curiosity piqued, as Sodaret continued, "Oh my, it seems that someone has held a grudge against you from childhood. You haven't been able to use your full potential due to a trivial curse known as the bladed illusion, which suppresses talent for the blade. It must be a terrible curse for a Runcandle. That might be the reason why I was so captivated by you. From this moment, no curse will be able to bring harm upon you anymore. All that is left for you is to become a magic swordsman, Jean Runcandle." With those words, Sodaret vanished into the shadows, leaving Jean to contemplate this unexpected twist of fate. He now had the opportunity to break free from the curse that had held him back for so long, and with the power of shadow magic at his disposal, his journey as a magic swordsman would take on a new and extraordinary dimension. Jean Runcandle, having made the fateful contract with Sodaret and unlocking his latent potential, realized that every time he picked up his sword, he could reach new heights. The title of worst dunce in the history of the Runcandle family no longer seemed fitting. With the addition of magic to his skills, his hard work had finally come to fruition, and he was ready to rise above his past, but fate had another twist in store. Suddenly, a group of soldiers attacked him, catching him off guard. In the midst of the chaos, he heard a scream, and his body grew heavy with pain. As he lay injured and fading, he called out to his master and Sodaret for help, his eyes closing with uncertainty. In the darkness, he questioned, "Is anyone there? I can't believe I died while sleeping. Is this because I am useless after all? Do I have a chance to use the magic and Sodaret I've gained?" However, when Jean opened his eyes again, he found himself surrounded by familiar faces, members of his family. Confusion gripped him as he wondered, "What is going on? I definitely died." Then, to his surprise, Gilly, his master, encouraged him to cheer up. Jean couldn't fathom why she was there. Looking around, he also saw the Barasada, the legendary sword he had chosen during the selection ceremony. It dawned on him with a jolt: it is the selection ceremony. I have returned to the past, as a 1-year-old baby, Jean Runcandle. I picked this sword in my previous life by chance, but in this life, I choose it intentionally, with newfound determination and the wisdom of his previous life. Jean was ready to forge a different destiny for himself within the Runcandle family, armed not only with his sword but also with the formidable power of shadow magic bestowed upon him by Sodaret. His journey had taken an unexpected turn, but he was now poised to rewrite the legacy of the Runcandle clan. The people who had gathered for the selection ceremony couldn't believe their eyes. The Patriarch's sword, the Barasada, had been chosen by the youngest of the Runcandle family. Jin's father announced, "The youngest has selected the Barasada. The selection ceremony is over. Move the youngest to Storm Castle." 6 years passed within the confines of Storm Castle, where Jin was bound by family rules to remain until he turned 10. As he languished in boredom, a sudden sound caught his attention. Concerned, he asked his maid, "What's wrong?" She replied, "Young master, there is a dead bird in your room." Jin puzzled over this, knowing that the only people with access to Storm Castle were his brothers. Daytona and Haytona, twin siblings and the 11th and 12th sons of the Runcandle brothers, soon revealed themselves as the culprits. They callously admitted to placing the dead bird in his room as a cruel prank, taunting him about their gift and challenging him to show emotion. Jin, fed up with their torment, prepared to defend himself when the twins attempted to attack him. However, instead of a physical confrontation, he tapped into his newfound shadow energy, overwhelming them with its power. He warned them to stay out of his sight from that point forward. Just as the situation seemed under control, Khan arrived and inquired about the commotion. Jin concealed his shadow energy and explained that the twins had instigated a fight with him, which had resulted in their sudden collapse. Khan, recognizing the Runcandle children's fierce nature, offered to take them to a doctor. However, Jin had other plans. He insisted that the twins needed to go somewhere else and instructed Khan to follow him. Jin buried the dead bird in the rain, giving it a proper resting place, and left the injured twins to endure the storm, a stark reminder of the cruelty they had shown to an innocent creature. As Khan rode away on his horse, Jin watched from his window and realized that Khan was heading to report to his father, the Patriarch of the Runcandle family. Khan was not just their guardian knight, he also served as an observer. Jin knew that Khan had witnessed something extraordinary, something beyond ordinary aura or mana. It was the manifestation of his shadow energy, proof of his contract with Sodaret. This power confirmed that his contract with Sodaret was valid even in this life. Thanks to the curse immunity that came with being Sodaret's contractor, Jin had been able to avoid the bladed illusion curse. The label of the Dunce of Runcandle no longer applied. From this point forward, many things in his life would differ from his previous existence. The next step was to confront his father. Khan met with the Patriarch of the Runcandle family, Jin's father, and relayed all the events that had transpired. The Patriarch calmly acknowledged the news, saying, "So the youngest beat Tana twins." Without hesitation, he ordered Khan to assemble the flag-bearers, indicating his intent to visit Storm Castle personally. Swiftly, one of Jin's brothers arrived to inform the Patriarch that all 7 flag-bearers and their 200 knights were ready for assembly. The Patriarch nodded in approval and said, "Good. Let's go to Storm Castle." A significant confrontation was imminent, and the Runcandle family's Patriarch was determined to address the situation involving Jin and the Tana twins. Amid a sudden order to gather, Mary Runcandle, the 7th child of the Runcandle family, turned to her older sibling Deepoo's and inquired, "Deepoo's Appa, do you know anything about this? I asked Luna Uni earlier, but I don't think she knew either." Deepoo's, the 4th child of the Runcandles, contemplated the situation and responded, "The Tana brothers will be out of the castle next year, so I think about them." Curious, Mary pressed on, "But why would that lead to such an order?" Deepoo's recalled a crucial detail and explained, "He chose the Patriarch's sword, don't you remember?" Before the conversation could delve any deeper, Luna Runcandle, the firstborn of the family, intervened and urged them to be quiet. Meanwhile, Jin's nanny conveyed the news to him. She told Jin that the Patriarch was coming to see them. Jin realized that Khan had indeed reported to his father, setting the stage for a significant meeting with the head of the Runcandle family. As the Patriarch of the Runcandle family entered Storm Castle, a sense of reverence filled the air, and everyone present respectfully greeted him. It was clear that his arrival carried great significance. With a commanding presence, the Patriarch instructed those around him to bring the Tana brothers. Haytona and Daytona, looking somewhat apprehensive, were summoned before their father. The Patriarch addressed them directly, inquiring, "Haytona, Daytona, I heard that you got into a fight with Jean. What is the reason for this altercation? The Tana brothers, eager to present their side of the story, quickly responded, we have no faults, father. Jean was the one who hurt us, with an unknown power. It was not an aura, it seemed like magic. But you know magic is forbidden in our family. Their claims were met with agreement from their other siblings, who chimed in, saying, that's right, father. If he's using magic, we must interrogate him before he can hide his tracks. The Patriarch considered their words carefully before delivering his verdict. He turned to the Tana brothers and stated sternly, you will not survive in the Runcandle family if you proceed like this. With a final command, he continued, go and bring Jean. The tension in the room mounted as everyone awaited the resolution of this familial dispute. As Jean faced his father, Chiron Runcandle, he couldn't help but reflect on the imposing figure before him. His father was an immensely powerful and cold man, stronger than anyone Jean had ever known, and bore the status of a demigod, a Genesis Knight. Chiron had once been an ordinary person, but after attaining the status of a demigod, he had shed most of his human emotions, becoming singularly obsessed with the family's prosperity. For someone like Jean, with no talent in swordsmanship, it often felt as though he didn't exist in his father's eyes. However, this life was different. Jean was determined to ensure that he would not be discarded or overlooked this time. Greeting his father, Jean referred to him as the Patriarch. This caught Chiron's attention, and he asked, why do you call me Patriarch and not father? Jean explained his reasoning, saying, my brothers, sisters, and guardian knights, over 100 people have visited today, and I concluded that your visit must be an official one. That's why I chose to refer to you that way. The Patriarch found Jin's response satisfactory and allowed him to address him as father. Then, he posed the same question he had asked Jin's brothers, inquiring about the reason for the fight. Jean replied with conviction, it's revenge, father. If you are a member of the Runcandle family, you must always return what you are given, whether that be grace or resentment. Satisfied with Jin's answer, the Patriarch dismissed everyone else from the room, leaving only the two of them. He had specific questions for his youngest son. Chiron wanted to understand the nature of the powers Jean had used, as the Runcandles strictly forbade the use of magic, especially for those unable to reach the pinnacle of swordsmanship. He questioned Jean about the power he had employed, and Jean hesitated briefly. Jean explained, I'm not sure what to call it, father, but it's neither magic nor aura. To demonstrate, he summoned the black flames associated with his newfound abilities. Chiron's reaction was unexpected. He recognized the power immediately and declared, this is the power that the Runcandle founder possessed. Jin's revelation had clearly struck a chord with his father, opening up a new and mysterious chapter in their family's history. As Jin's father observed the power of shadow energy manifested through the Barasada sword, he couldn't help but wonder about the implications. He thought to himself, Barasada's shadow energy, so does that mean this child is destined to be the head of this family? The Patriarch then explained to Jean the significance of the power he possessed. This is the power of Soderet, the god of shadows. Soderet made a contract with our family's founder, Lord Timar, and helped establish our family. But since Lord Timar passed away, Soderet has not reappeared before the Runcandles. I don't know the reason, but it seems he is returning to the Runcandle family through you. Jean couldn't help but ask, is Soderet stronger than you, father? The Patriarch responded, I don't know because I've never fought with a god. I think coming to see you today was a good decision. He then assured Jean that he would be closely watched from now on. As his father left the room, Jean couldn't help but feel a sense of unexpected anticipation. He knew that mastering the use of shadow energy would be a significant achievement, but he also realized that his father had expectations of him that went beyond his own ambitions. Sometime later, Jin's sister Mary arrived with a special gift. She presented it to him, and Jean inquired about its contents. She replied, it's a special gift from your elder sister. Jean gave the gift to his nanny and informed her that it was from his elder sister. He couldn't help but wonder why Mary was giving him a gift. Upon opening the gift, Jean was surprised to find a phoenix heart. He thought it was a bit extravagant for a 7-year-old boy, but he soon realized that Mary had given it to him as a symbol of his need to grow quickly. Mary, a 6-star knight and the 7th flag bearer, was known as Wind Fury Mary and had a reputation as the Mad Woman of the South. As Jean sat at the table for his meal, he contemplated the phoenix heart's significance. If he consumed it, he would become resistant to fire and likely grow faster. He saw it as a symbol of his determination to summon a phoenix in this lifetime. While Jean was eating, his nanny approached and asked if he had waited long. She urged him to eat before the food got cold. Just then, the Tana brothers arrived. Jean asked if they needed anything, and they hesitantly admitted that they had come for the food from the gift. Jean then asked them if they wanted to eat that badly, to which they eagerly replied in the affirmative. Seizing the opportunity, Jean asked them for a favor, to dig a hole in a specific location. The Tana brothers didn't understand why, but they agreed to help Jean. Little did they know that on the opposite side of the digging site, something special awaited, a secret known only to Jean. After completing the digging as Jean had requested, the Tana brothers returned and asked for the promised soup. However, when they reached the table, they found only 2 teaspoons of soup waiting for them. Surprised and somewhat disappointed, one of them remarked, "Brother, there's only a teaspoon." "Is that all?" The Jean, with a sly smile, responded, "I did promise you soup, but I didn't specify how much. I've kept my promise. Enjoy." The Tana brothers didn't argue further and thanked Jean for the soup. They had learned that when dealing with Jean, it was essential to be precise in their requests. Jean then moved towards the freshly dug hole, appreciating the Tana brothers' efforts. After examining the thickness of the wall, he determined that only a 1-star magic spell was needed. With a wave of his hand, he unleashed the magic and destroyed the wall. Jean had finally reached the Runcandle's secret library, a place he had never been in his previous life. Before him, there stood a door, and Jean recalled his older brother mentioning a trigger phrase to open it. He said aloud, "Runcandle child, come here to console Murakan." As the words left his lips, the door swung open, revealing the secrets that lay within the family's hidden library. Jean stood in awe of the Runcandle's secret library, a vast repository of the family's most treasured and closely guarded tomes. Access to this place was granted only to the flagbearers of the Runcandle family, and Jin's older brother had once told him he didn't need to know about this place since he wasn't a flagbearer. But now, it became clear that his previous ignorance was a valuable asset. He intended to make the most of this newfound knowledge and access. As he entered the library, Jin's attention was drawn to a peculiar sight, a person enclosed within a large tube. He couldn't discern whether this individual was dead or alive, and the sight raised numerous questions. Jean wondered aloud, "What is it?" Observing the black aura and scales, he quickly realized that this being was not human. The realization struck him like a bolt of lightning. This was none other than Black Dragon Murakan. Jean couldn't believe that the legends were true. The Black Dragon Murakan had been defeated by the Runcandle family's founder and had entered a deep slumber. Shaking off the astonishment, Jean knew he didn't have time to dwell on this unexpected encounter. He needed to find the secret tomes. Scanning the library, he soon located them, containing the hidden knowledge of various families, including the renowned Kungan family, known for their mastery of swordsmanship. Jean contemplated taking the books with him, but the risk of getting caught was too great. Instead, he devised a plan. He would copy the contents of these books while he was in the library. This way, he could acquire the knowledge he sought without raising suspicion or risking the library's security. With determination in his heart, Jean set about his task of uncovering the secrets hidden within the pages of the tomes. As Jean continued to copy books from the secret library and study them in the safety of his castle, he was engrossed in the wealth of knowledge he had uncovered. However, one day, while he was in the library, he heard a sound that startled him. He immediately asked, "Who's there?" Jean couldn't fathom how anyone from Storm Castle could possibly enter the library without his knowledge. To his astonishment, someone responded to his query, asking, "Hey, you, what are you?" Upon seeing the figure, Jean realized it was Murakan, the Black Dragon. He couldn't believe it. Why is Murakan here? I never heard of Murakan awakening in my previous life, he thought, realizing that he needed to remain composed and respectful. Jean attempted to address Murakan as a family guardian. He said, Runcandle respects the family guardian. However, Murakan reacted with anger and indignation. Guardian? Did you say family guardian? How dare you treat me as a family guardian? You Runcandles teach your children such nonsense, he retorted. Murakan, who had initially been drawn by a pleasant scent, was now disappointed to find only a child. Murakan's senses then picked up on something else, the distinct scent of shadow energy emanating from Jean. He questioned Jean about it, expressing his surprise at detecting the scent of shadow energy, which he associated with contractors like Timar. Jean, realizing that Murakan had awakened due to his shadow energy, cautiously revealed his own power to the Black Dragon. He explained that his father had told him it was the power of the god of shadows, Saderet. Murakan was taken aback by the revelation and expressed disbelief. He revealed that he had once made a promise with Saderet and that it seemed the person who needed to cooperate with him to fulfill that promise was none other than Jean. After introducing himself formally as Murakan, Saderet's representative and friend, and the last descendant of the first being created from the shadows, Murakan stated, according to the contract, from now on, I will be on your side. State your name, Saderet's contractor. Jean replied confidently, my name is Jean Runcandle, I am the 13th and youngest of the Runcandle family. With these words, the pact between Jean and Murakan, the Black Dragon, began, and the course of his destiny took an unforeseen turn. Black Dragon Murakan, whose presence was so formidable that an entire mountain range was named after him, ruled over the stormy Murakan Mountain in the distant past. However, the annals of history revealed that Murakan had been defeated in a battle 1,000 years ago by the Runcandle family's founder, Timar Runcandle. This defeat led to Murakan relinquishing his dominion over Murakan Mountain and the Storm Castle, after which he fell into a deep slumber, yet, the true nature of their relationship was far more complex. Murakan and Timar were not enemies, instead, they were close friends, and Murakan served as Timar's guardian dragon. In the world where gods and their contracts existed, those who forged a contract with a god would have a guardian dragon by their side. However, Jean had never been informed about Saderet's guardian dragon. It now made sense that this information had been withheld because Murakan had been in deep slumber. With Murakan now awake, Jean had not only gained the power of shadow energy but also a formidable guardian dragon, cementing their bond as guardian and contractor. The next day, Jean made his way to the secret library as he had done frequently since Murakan's awakening. He greeted the dragon, saying, Murakan, I'm here. This time, Jean had brought some cakes that his nanny had prepared, a gesture to show his appreciation for the newfound alliance. Jean couldn't help but be curious about the past, so he asked Murakan about his battle with Timar. However, Murakan's memory of that time had faded over the centuries, and he replied, It's been over 1,000 years, and I don't remember. Jean, noting Murakan's fondness for strawberry pies, made it a habit to bring them every time he visited. During one of their conversations, Murakan asked Jean what he was doing every time he came to the library. Jean explained that he was copying the tomes because it was challenging to take them with him. Murakan inquired if Jean understood the content, to which Jean replied that he grasped about 30% of it. Murakan offered words of encouragement, saying, Don't lose faith, kid. You're doing an amazing job at your age. Jean, ever proud of his Runcandle heritage, responded, I am Runcandle, this is normal to me. I have 12 brothers and sisters, as well as my father, mother, and elders. If I want to surpass them, I need to work hard. Jean then posed a question to Murakan, asking how much the founder, Timar, would have understood from these books. Murakan explained that even if Timar had read the books at Jin's age, he likely wouldn't have understood much. Theory didn't always translate to practical skill. Nevertheless, Timar had fought valiantly. Murakan assured Jean that he had great potential but wasn't yet on par with Timar. Jean asked if he would ever become like the founder, and Murakan responded positively, encouraging him not to be impatient and emphasizing the need for hard work. Then, Murakan revealed an interesting tidbit about Soderet, the god of shadows, and his nickname, Infinity. His power had no limits, and as his contractor, Jean had the potential to reach new heights. Murakan instilled confidence in Jean and promised to teach him a new technique to enhance his abilities further. Excited and eager to learn, Jean asked Murakan about the technique he mentioned. Murakan explained that it was called shadow energy release, the fundamental aspect of shadow energy manipulation. However, he emphasized the importance of learning it properly, as it could be dangerous if mishandled. The first step was to learn how to form mana, a skill Jean had already acquired in his previous life. Murakan continued with his instructions, explaining that Jean would need to practice diligently for 3 to 4 years before advancing to more complex techniques. He couldn't teach advanced concepts without a solid foundation in the basics. To demonstrate his readiness, Jean channeled mana and showed it to Murakan. This unexpected display left the dragon astonished. Jean explained that he had always been able to manipulate mana. Murakan was impressed and acknowledged that only geniuses could manipulate mana with such ease. With that hurdle cleared, Murakan began to divulge the details of the shadow energy release technique. He revealed that shadow energy originated from shadows, and all the shadows in the world were born from Soderet. This meant that Soderet was the true owner of shadows in the world. As the sole contractor of Soderet, Jean had the potential to become the owner of the world's shadows. Murakan then proceeded to teach Jean how to release and harness shadow energy. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, Jin's first elder sister, Luna, was engaged in combat against their enemies. After successfully completing their mission, Luna and her comrades began their journey home. During their travels, Luna contemplated what a 9-year-old child might like, hinting at a surprise for someone special upon her return.